Everyone, and welcome to our next YouTube session. Today, we're going to discuss another very interesting topic which gets often asked to me on LinkedIn and various other platforms like Quora as to how do you go about getting a job abroad once you're done with ACCA. Now, of course, I will be able to share my first-hand experience of getting job outside India. However, I just want to make sure that there is one disclaimer that I want to give, and that is you don't have to go outside India to pursue a career or get a job after ACCA. Like I am in India, very much in Mumbai, and majority of my post qualification life I have spent very much working in organizations in India. So I don't see why anyone needs to go outside India to make their career, though they've done ACCA, because I know this is a common myth that people always say that if you've done ACCA you'll have to go outside India, right? Please do not fall for these things. Yes, there is a good opportunity as well outside India if you are in ACCA. However, if you want to stay in the country and make a good career, I assure you there are enough opportunities out there, right? And there are other videos that I have made where I talk about what you can do, and again there are videos around what are the other common myths around ACCA. I would request you watch those videos as well, so that some of these common myths you can get rid of. All right, so coming back to the topic of how to get a job abroad. First things first, my name is Zaid Syed. I'm a trainer at Financial Planning Academy, and I have only recently started to do these videos on YouTube. I thought that there is a lot that I can give back to the community, and I'd posted this and asked for suggestions on my LinkedIn page, where I got finding jobs abroad as one of the key things that people wanted to understand. So here I am with our very own video where I'll talk about what you can do. So let's get on of how do you go about finding a job abroad. So first things first is that you need to do your homework of where you want to go. Now, there are multiple countries that you can actually go to after you've completed your ACCA. Now, this could be Australia, this could be Canada, this could be Middle East, this could be UK, this could be Europe, or for all I care, it could be in Southeast Asian countries, or maybe, the US itself, right? Because at the end of the day, ACCA is an internationally accepted qualification. MNCs would typically know about the qualification. So therefore, it is really down to you where you want to go. So because as I said, I will be able to share my first-hand experience. Uh, though I always had a very good opportunity to settling in the UK, because I did my studies in London and I do have family in the UK, but I never really wanted to settle outside India. Call me patriotic or whatever, but I've always thought that here is where I want to make my career, and touch wood, I think I have been able to do that. But yeah, there was a time where I felt, okay, maybe let's try something, something where maybe countries like say Australia and Canada, they are high on immigration, and lovely countries to stay and growing economies, etc. So I did apply for immigration, permanent residency to Australia, and it took me about say 7-8 months to get my visas in, and I got my PR. Now, some of you will be thinking, wow, it takes so little. Look, I have been lucky, maybe, or maybe because My scores were very good. I had the highest band in IELTS score. I already was matching or getting scores on all the parameters. Like if I'm married and if I have work experience and I have, an international qualification. So all those things worked or totaled quite well for me, and then I was able to get a good score, and I got PR fairly quickly, basis which I moved to Melbourne. And moving to Melbourne, I must say it was a lovely experience. Beautiful city, lot of opportunities, and I think the time spent in that city is probably one of the most reforming times for me, because again, whenever you're outside your cocoon, you become so much more humble, you learn so many more things. So Melbourne experience was very good, but I got homesick. I was recently blessed with with a daughter, so I couldn't really stay back and wait for them to move. So, and again, I was always in my head, it was always there that why am I going to Australia when my career was all very sorted and everything was working fine. So I decided to come back, to Mumbai and to India to make sure that I can pursue my career further here. Yeah, but I must make it absolutely clear that if you want to go abroad and work, it's a good idea. You can always get lots and lots of good exposure. It makes you a much better person, a much more knowledgeable person, right? For example, we in India, we are not used to cooking, cleaning, and all that. But once you're outside India, you'll have to do all of that on your own. So, it does make you a much more down to earth and humble person. I think that's very important trait for any kind of a personality that you would have. So do your homework, where you want to go, what are the kind of opportunities available. And again, there are multiple websites that are available. There is a website called Immigration or something. I can't, recollect. I will try and put it later in the comment box as soon as I recollect, because I remember, going on that portal a lot and discussing, where should I move, what are the job opportunities. And believe you me, there are thousands of people on those portals which are active and very helpful as well, right? So you can go there, you can search for topics. For example, how do you score in IELTS, or where do you move, what are the good schools, which areas you should go to, how much you spend. All of these are available on these portals. So just do a Google and immigration discussion portals, and you should be able to get that. And if it comes to me in a bit, then I will make sure that I mention the portals details. But it's all available, it's all there in Google, it's not hidden away, tucked away anywhere, right? So do the homework, see where you want to go, check for whether the job opportunities are there, what are the cost of living, what are the kind of healthcare available, schooling available, how far is it from your country. Because be conscious of the fact that if it's too far, God forbid, if some emergency happens, how long will it take for you to come back to see, for example, for us Indians, it is always easiest to go to, say, Middle East or maybe Singapore, etc., because you can travel back so quickly from these countries, right? So do that. Make sure that you find, have identified what are these 5 6 7 categories which are important for you, because it will depend on person to person. Someone who is absolutely bachelor at 25-year-old, they will probably want to see what's the party scene like. And someone who is, say, in their mid 30s, they would want to see what is the schooling like, what is the cost of living, etc. So it will all depend upon you. You'll have to do a bit of a homework, and these portals which I mentioned, they may even be able to give you such things so that you don't have to even, reinvent the wheel. Okay, so that's the first thing. Second thing that you need to do is that as soon as you've decided that I want to go to Australia, Canada, Middle East, UK, wherever, start to make the connections beforehand. Now, what do I mean by that? Is that we all will have somewhere or the other, some uncle, some auntie, some cousin, some falana, dhikana, or someone or the other who is, based out of these countries. Try and get that connection done, because believe you me, it is such a relief to know that when you are going to these countries which are completely unknown to you, you've never been before. See, if you've been to a country before, for example, I've studied in the UK, I've lived in the UK, so eventually, if I wanted to settle there, it would have been absolutely like, coming back to my second home. It would have been, and because I worked for UK based companies while in India as well in the last so many years, I used to travel back and forth quite often. And plus, I have a family there. So it's like my second home over there. But for some, so like when I went to Australia, it was an absolutely foreign land, no idea, how the transportation works, how the people are like, what's the markets are like, etc. So when you go to these places, it is good to have someone who you can call up and say, look, I'm stuck here, or someone who comes and picks you up at the airport. Like I was very lucky that I had my cousins in Melbourne, so they came to me, they came to pick me up in the morning, and it was such a lovely sight to see someone who you already know. Yeah, so I was picked up, I was already given a SIM card which I can use to call up people. I was taken to an area which was nice and safe, clean, still very reasonable. So these are the kind of things that can help you in settling in. I'm not saying that this is going to be, oh, you are speaking to us now only because, or why should I speak, I've never spoken with them in my life. I know some people will have these kind of things, but trust me, when you are abroad, you need any and everyone who can be come to you as someone, right? So try and make those connections beforehand. Speak with neighbors, neighbors ke neighbors, friends, friends ke friends, whoever you can. See if you can find people wherever you are going. Make sure that you've already connected with them beforehand so that they can help you things like where you should move to. So as I said, there are portals which can give you a lot of information. You can actually use those portals for a lot of work. But these connections that I'm talking about, they are different. Why? Because once people have already moved to, say, so when I moved to Melbourne, honestly, if I was, spending half an hour every day on that portal checking what are the new things coming, after I moved to Melbourne and I was working and I had a job and I had house and everything sorted, I did not even visit that site once, right? And that's very bad of me. But unfortunately, the truth is, you will have so many other things to worry about once you have landed. Yeah. So of course there will be good people as well. And I did try to, whenever I could, go and reply to, especially on the threads that I have put in, so I would, try and reply to those threads whenever possible. But these connections, your friends and family are already settled there. They will be able to give you a good piece of know-how of what you need before you come to the country. Like especially they will tell you, don't bring ration with you, don't bring rice and wheat and fruits and vegetables. Those are all available in these countries as well, and trust me, better quality sometimes and cheaper as well, right? So it is important for you to know these things, all right? Then very important is that choosing the right immigration partner. Now there are two schools of thought. One is that you don't need a partner at all, and two, you will need a proper full-fledged partner. Now I'll tell you what are the guys, or who are the people who need a partner, immigration partner. So people who have traveled abroad a lot of times, who have done lots of visa applications because of their work, because of their holidays, etc. Yeah, you probably need not do any kind of or visit any kind of immigration partners, because the visas are the immigration forms, the visa forms are not going to be significantly different to what you've done before. It is just that it may require a lot more information because you are going on, say, a permanent residency visa or a business visa, whatever those visas are. Yeah, so what you would need to do is make sure that you use these portals which I mentioned are on online immigration. Yeah, IMI something it's called. I can't recollect still. Yeah, I'm getting old. But the point is, it's the portals are there to help you go through this whole immigration process end to end. Even if you ask that on this form, this is what it's asked, and I am, under this category, what should be done, there will be people who will help you out. Yeah, so don't have to go to an immigration partner. But if you have not traveled ever before, you don't have anyone to support you, you may think that you don't have all the paperwork, like, sometimes you may not have the right kind of college degrees or clearances or background checks done or something, you had legal issues and you are scared that if I go, they will catch me at the airport. And, these things are very common and people are worried about it, right? Use an immigration partner, they can help you clear all of these. Now, do I suggest any one typical immigration partner? No, of course I know Y-Axis has been around for quite some time. There is Global Tree that has been around for quite some time. I use Pillai Immigration, but honestly, I felt when I was moving to Australia, and trust me, that was probably the only one thing that I regret. That why did I do? Because I didn't need, because the forms were exactly how, whenever I was traveling to UK, I'd done those forms myself. I did not need anyone. So, but because I, got a suggestion from a close friend of mine, oh, use these services, they are very good and this and that. So they were typically just more of a postman. They will take the documents from me and post it here and there. And for that, they will charge you lakhs of rupees. Please don't do that unless you have the challenges which I mentioned. So accordingly, basis whatever your requirement is, go for the partner. Or you don't go, then use these portals, but make sure that you do your paperwork properly, because in that back and forth, you will lose a lot of time. ठीक है? Not that, if you send an incorrect form, it gets rejected and, the guys take away all your money. That's not the case. These immigration agencies will help you. They've got their customer services, email, calls, etc. So they are mostly very helpful. Okay. When you move, now this is something that I want, especially the professionals who are already, because a lot of people come to me and they said, I'm already working at a big four and I'm at a senior level and I'm already a AVP and I'm already a director, etc. What will I get when I go to these countries? You will probably start at level zero, right? Because the biggest challenge is, unless you've not worked in these countries before, or you've not, or if you haven't worked for any of those companies that are there in Australia and also in India, and you can show on the letterhead that, look, I've worked with these companies, it's a bit of a challenge. So be ready to start with level zero. You will. So I'll give my own example. So when I went there, in a week's time, what I did was, so what I was doing as soon as I landed, I took one day just to roam around, see the local area, where the shops are, and how to get the bus pass and this and that. So once you move on the first day, you need to make sure that you climatize yourself with, where you can get groceries, until what time the buses, trains are running. How do you get to the nearest station, or how do you get to the central business district, CBD, or central areas where the jobs are, etc. So do all of that research. And then from the second day onward, I was full-fledgedly on the laptop trying to apply for jobs, as many possible, right? And these were through, direct connections on LinkedIn, or for example on websites like Seek, Monster, etc., where you can apply. Remember, when you're applying for jobs, India may have, we don't have this culture so much, but over there, say like in the UK, in Australia, you need to make sure that you send a cover letter as well. Why you believe that you are a right fit for the job. So every time you apply for a job which is slightly different from the previous one, you'll have to update your covering letter, because you have to show that yes, I have that core competencies, I know audit, I know finance, I know accounting, I know taxation, whatever the case may be. So, you need to start applying for jobs. Now, I'll be honest with you, because when I was in the, about to just move, and I had spoken with, guys, who are from CA, CCA fraternity, and they're already settled there. Some of them said that, look, even if you get a job as a gardener, do it, because the first 6 months are very tough. So again, a wake up call for everyone who thinks कि मैं वहाँ जाऊंगा और party करूंगा, and it's all like Shah Rukh Khan and Salman Khan and Hrithik Roshan movies. It's not like that. You will have to slog, right? But what worked for me really? A, obviously because I worked in the UK, so I was better equipped with the culture and everything. But B, I was very open to any kind of work. Okay, so and I was humble enough. So what I did was smartly. Well, I'm calling myself smart, maybe not, but I think what helped me was that as soon as I started applying for jobs in accounts, because I was already working at a senior level in India in one of the BPO IT companies for a process in the UK. I was managing their accounting. So, of course, I was trying to apply for those jobs. But at the same time, I started to apply for jobs which were more, say, achievable. So, I applied for, call center jobs, right? Which are very quick to get, okay, as long as you've got good com skills. And believe you me, I worked in a call center in my college period, long, long, long ago. So I had an experience of how that works. So so when I went, I applied for those jobs as well, and in 2 weeks' time, I already had a job in Melbourne CBD in one of the leading call center companies. And trust me, it was such a relief, because you were already getting up in the morning, using the trains, going to work, seeing people, interacting with different people, different levels. It starts to give you that confidence that okay, you are now here, you've arrived, that's it, you will not have a challenge, because you are making money now. Until then I was spending my rupees converted to dollars, now I'm earning in rupees. Of course, the money is absolutely basic, because call centers may, you don't get the highest salaries, you get very basic salaries, yeah. But it's something to go by, and because it was just me by myself, I had taken one of the rooms in one of the villas over there, or a bungalow, whatever. So my expenses were not that crazy, so it worked absolutely fine. Okay, so take up any job, be it a gardener, be it mover packer, be it call center, be it whatever it is, because that money starts to come in. At least at the back of the mind, you don't have to worry about कि next month kya hoga, right? Once that money starts to come in, you start to meet people, network people, you're okay to spend on some professional services as well. You go to a specialist recruitment agencies, they can help you revamp your CV, and all that is possible once you have that money. Okay, so be ready to start with level 0. Yeah, whatever jobs come by, take that, because once you pass that initial stage, then it is absolutely easy to get the job that you desire. And that's why my next thing is, while you are working, right, make sure that you are upskilling yourself as well. Because see, why would anyone want to hire someone who's just come to Australia, and or just come to Canada or the Middle East, and because they say that they have done all of these, but they don't know, because their background checks will not go all over India and check whether Zahir had worked in these companies at these levels. So for them, you've got zero experience. So that's why you need to make sure that you keep upskilling yourself. For example, every market, every country will have their own softwares that you use, especially the smaller companies. For example, in Australia, QuickBooks is extensively used. In UK, Sage Line 50, or maybe there's another version now. But back in the day, Sage Line 50, when I was studying there, I got trained on that. Yes, so make sure that while you are working, don't forget that you're not there to work in a call center as a gardener, but as an accountant, as as a controller or whatever, right? So make sure that you upskill yourself, As soon as you upskill yourself, you put that in your resume. People who are training, a lot of times they can help you get a job. Otherwise, go to consultants. Over there, contract jobs are very common. Here in India, it's very common that you are on a permanent payroll. But in Western economies, especially in Australia and UK, because I've worked in both these places, I can tell you contract employment is very common. You will be hired for 3 months. Year end arrive, they will hire you for 3 months. Someone, went on a maternity, they will hire you for 6 months. So I was hired for a lady who went on a maternity. So I was hired for, I think, whatever 6 9 months. I can't recollect now, but I was hired there. Okay, sorry, I did not mention uh, but while I was working in the call center, as I said, I was upskilling and I was, trying to make sure that I keep applying for the right jobs. So I kept meeting these consultants who can help me, with my job search. And 4 weeks, I think it took, fourth or fifth week maybe, and I had a call back from a consultant who said, look, this is the area where we need an accounts officer. An accounts officer basically is someone who's not very, so it's not even a senior position, it's not even mid management, it's below mid management, let me put it that way, right? But yeah, that job was offered to me, and believe you me, that was, the salaries were, because as I said, accountants are in demand anywhere you go. So if I was earning $38,000 at the call center, I was offered, $54,000, say, at that place. So that's the kind of jump you can get as soon as you become a qualified, when you start to work in a proper job, related to your field, right? So make sure that you upskill yourself, you understand what the market requirement is, and then keep liaising with your consultants, your connections. Make sure that whoever you're speaking to, send them your resumes, so that if there is any opportunity that comes up, they will always, remember you right in their head. Okay. And the last thing, and probably the most important, network. Keep networking, be it LinkedIn, be it through friends and families, through whatever circles you can. Like, I'll tell you my own example. So when I went to Australia, Melbourne, I started to support one of the charities there, which is called, Afghan Women Welfare Foundation. I made sure that whatever I could, I would do it for them, making PPTs for them, doing accounts for them, supporting them in their events, etc. Selling hot dogs for them. You're getting a point. So what it allows you to do is, while you're doing all of these things, you are meeting with people, you are interacting with people, and through them you will, never know, you will get a job. Like some of the guys who I was living with, they were on the verge of, helping me find a job, but before that I got it myself. So the point is that if you think that I will sit in my room and keep applying for jobs on laptop, it is never going to happen. You need to step out, you need to network, you need to talk to people, go to speak to consultants, go and speak with your friends and family, whoever is there, go and speak to your room partners, whoever. Yeah, make sure that you are constantly networking with whoever and wherever. Yeah, because at the end of the day, you are new in that country. You, for your survival, making sure that you find a good job, a decent job that can take care of your expenses is extremely important for the first few months. Look, once you've stayed in a country for a 6 months, 1 year, then it's easy. Then you already know people, then it becomes, second nature for you to find a job, because over there the jobs are there, contractual jobs are a lot more common, but it is there, so you can quite easily jump from job to job. Like, I see people who were at that time when I moved, very new to the country, and they were struggling as much as I was, and now I see they are buying Porsches, and they are buying the best of the best houses, and they are living luxuriously and all that. So the point being that going abroad, especially after doing ACCA, is a fairly good choice, but it's not the only choice. That's my point. You don't have to go outside India, if you've done ACCA, there are enough jobs. And again, as I said, you can always go to some of the other seminars that I've done where I've covered, some of the common myths where I've showed where these jobs are available, right? So, don't sweat too much about, no, I have to move out. Only then I will be able to get a job, right? So, on that note, I would like to end our session today. But before I end our session today, there is one small thing that I want to tell you guys is a lot of people may tell you that, once you're done with ACCA, you will get a job in UK, Australia, Canada, Europe, Middle East from here itself. It's a myth again. Uh, in a very, very, very rare case, it may so happen because you're so super qualified and your skills are so rare in the market that the countries are willing to interview you from India while they are in Melbourne and Sydney and wherever, and they are okay for you to come, take months to come, etc. It's a it's a complete no-no. Yeah, if you want to get a job, in almost all likelihood, you'll have to be in that country to get a job, right? So don't fall for those marketing gimmicks that someone tells you, "Arey, yahin se job ho jati hai," and all that. It's like our students, when they come to us, I keep telling them that it is never ever gonna happen, right? Because I don't want to build, this key. Yeah. You apply from here, it's fine. Anyone who's asked me, I always tell them, you do your ACCA qualification, you apply for the right visa, go over there and apply for a job. Don't think that it will come from here. It's very rare. Like people who are in IT sometimes they get job, while they're in here studying in IIT and they are in the Google is hiring in say in the US, right? So don't fall for that trap. But yeah, that was another thing that I wanted to make. So for people who want to get in touch with me, I've got my mobile number here, I've got my email ID. Please do put in your comments if there are any new bits or anything that you would like to ask. If there is any more information you need, I'll be more than happy to answer them to the best extent possible. And a request, please, do try to educate your friends, family, in your network about these things, because these are very common bits that people want to know once they're done with these qualifications. I would love for you to, because this is not just limited to ACCA, by the way, this could be for any other course as well. These are the common things that you have to do for before you move abroad, even if it's CFP or a CMA or a CPA or an ACCA as well, right? So do share it with your friends and family, and please subscribe so that you can continue to get these kinds of updates from our end. On that note, thank you so much. All the very best. Bye bye.